Here we go. It's episode 54. Episode 54, right, Dan?
I lost count. Let's call it that. Episode 54,
All right.
Morse Code Podcast. As you can see, we're joined by the one and only Scott Hanson, the host of NFL RedZone, at Scott Hanson, right, Scott, on Twitter and everywhere?
At Scott Hanson on Twitter, at Scott Hanson1 on Instagram.
Someone else beat you to the Instagram handle.
Anything else is a hoax.
Gotcha. We have the real Scott Hanson on with us. I should have been more specific. So
the real sweaty Scott Hanson. I apologize to you guys and to the whole audience right now. This is a towel. It's not like a lion carcass that I have over my shoulder here. I just got out of the gym and we were able to work our schedules like this. So please forgive me. No makeup and a little sweaty.
No makeup,
right
no
now.
problem. Scott, first question. When's the last time you had a Sunday off?
Preseason. We didn't have a preseason this year, so I was off on
call.
Sundays on preseason. In fact, it's kind of funny. I have a group of buddies. I'm joining you guys from Los Angeles, where I live and where our studios are. Yeah. And I have a group of buddies that usually on Labor Day weekend, right, the last weekend before the NFL kicks off in the regular season, we usually do like a beach day. And I always say, fellas, this is my last Sunday before you won't see me again for, 5 months on the weekends. And then I shut down life. Saturdays are off limits because I'm preparing for NFL RedZone, and Sundays are off limits because I'm performing NFL RedZone. But I love it.
Scott, your famous tagline, something about 7 hours of, I don't know, commercial free, supposedly.
I'm not sure. Refresh my memory.
Yeah. So 7 straight hours of commercial free football.
You want me to do it, don't you? You're asking me to do it right now, aren't you?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it if we could hear it once. No.
No.
I could do a sweaty one if you want, because when we get going and we hit that opening octo box and I establish 7, 8, 9 games in the early window and I get the juices flowing and everything, it's apparently the fans have to hear it's not really football Sunday until 7 hours of commercial-free football start now. And if I'm not on camera, that is the hand gesture I do. I give it like a little, it's like a fist pump with an open, I don't know,
open
karate chop hand or something like that. Yeah.
The gesture comes through your voice. Trust me. Like I know.
Good.
I know that's what
I'm happy to hear that.
The pressing question. If you got to be somewhere for 7 hours and you can't use the restroom, what are some things that you have to avoid eating the day or morning of?
Well, I won't name any name brands.
Okay.
But tacos and pretty much everything in the Mexican family is kind of off limits starting on Saturday night. Got to have just basic staple proteins and salty foods as well to help me retain water. Saturday is not so much trouble. Sunday morning, we have a chef at NFL Network at the cafeteria who makes me the same dense protein, salty breakfast that I request. It is scrambled egg whites with extra salt, a turkey burger patty, no bun. I salt that, put a little hot sauce on it for flavor. And then a side of Kalamata olives, which I like olives, and they're very, very salty, those ones. And then I don't drink coffee. I don't need that caffeine, but I like a little caffeine pop. So I take a diet soda. They stock Diet Pepsi at the cafeteria there, and I have it on ice, and that's the only liquids I have all day.
Yeah.
And I will not use the restroom until I use the restroom several times leading up to the show, but once we go live, I get, my body is so used to it now, fellas.
Yeah.
When I say goodbye and the touchdown montage happens, and y'all are watching, every touchdown, and I say, good night, we'll see you next week. I don't even run to the bathroom then. In fact, I usually take my makeup off, take my suit off. I can get in my car, drive home, get some food or some drink here at my house. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go to the bathroom. And then I go to the bathroom. It's crazy. It's crazy how my body has adjusted.
So let me ask you a question. I've always wondered this. Are you a fan of a traditional team that you follow?
I am not a fan of a traditional team. I do have a favorite NFL team.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was going to say, it must be a conflict of interest on Sundays when you're trying to watch your boys and then keep it neutral with everyone else.
So I grew up in near the Detroit, Michigan area. So I grew up in Michigan, just outside of Detroit. The Lions were my team growing up, and I'm old enough to go back before Barry Sanders. I go back to the Billy Sims days. Okay, so we're talking early '80s, and followed them all the way through high school. They were my favorite team and whatnot. But then I went to school in New York. I started moving all over the country for my career, and when I started working for the NFL, the Lions kind of became one of the 32 teams. I mean, I like the Lions. If the Lions ever win the Super Bowl, I will celebrate because all my high school buddies will be thrilled about it because they still live and die with the Lions. More dying than living, unfortunately. But I don't have a favorite team. My favorite team is my fantasy football team.
Oh, there you go. You're in the right place then.
I am in one league this year. I usually I like to be in one league. Sometimes I'll be in two, but I like one league. I like a put up or shut up league. And I co-own the team with my dear buddy out here in Los Angeles, Josh Edmond. And so it's Josh and Scott's team. And we named ourselves Jotstrap, contracting our first two names.
Oh. Excellent.
He giggled like a schoolboy when I suggested the name, and then we co-own the team, and we are the champions. We've won 2 of the 3 championships. We finished second the year we didn't win, and then we're in the mix here as well again for another title. Yeah.
Well, you're in a great spot then. You have a great job if you're a fantasy football player.
No, heck yeah, I love it. I love it, and I challenge the audience. Yeah. I challenge you guys and our whole audience that's watching this in the NFL Red Zone audience. Yep. You can try and determine, based on how I call a certain guy's touchdown, if that is a member of my fantasy football team, or if a dude scores a touchdown and I might not seem as enthusiastic as I should, could that be an opponent of mine for that given Sunday? I'll challenge everyone to see if they can figure out our roster that way.
So breaking news, Scott Hanson is indeed human.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I've been curious. So when you were, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you were the first host of NFL Red Zone from the get-go, correct?
Yes. Okay. NFL Red Zone, this is our 12th season of doing NFL Red Zone. And this is the production that the NFL, puts on, and it is the NFL version. There is another, some people get confused, but there is another channel called the Red Zone channel that's exclusively on DirecTV.
Right.
And that is a different host. That is hosted by Andrew Siciliano, who some people might know from NFL Network, or maybe some people watch the Red Zone channel. But DirecTV has a separate deal with the NFL where they can do their own Red Zone channel. They call it the Red Zone channel. But everyone around the world and most of the people in the country get NFL Red Zone, which is the one hosted by Scott Hanson. So
my question was, what were your initial thoughts when you were picked? Because this was a quote unquote groundbreaking invention, whatever you want to call it. What were your initial thoughts when you were pitched the idea to host, just in general?
Yeah. So when I heard that the NFL was starting, NFL Red Zone, and I heard what the concept was, I actually called I was already working for NFL Media. I was a roving reporter. They used to just call me up and say, hey, you're going to the Patriots game this week. And I would do a, one-on-one interview with Tom Brady and blah, 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 that type of stuff. But they knew that my passion was the entire NFL. I'd be the guy up in the press box at Gillette Stadium being assigned to the Patriots-Jets game. But I'd have my laptop open in the press box, and I'd be jabbing the reporters next to me. Hey, Adrian Peterson's over 100 yards in the first half. Oh, did you see what Steve Smith just did in the Panthers game? Like talking about all the other games, even though there was a live football game going on in front of us. I always loved the big picture of the NFL. So when I heard that we were going to start the Red Zone, I called in and I said, who you guys got to host this thing? Because I want it. Because I figured that I could do a good job at it. And to answer your question specifically, I knew, and I'm not trying to sound like Nostradamus here, I knew this thing would be huge.
Oh yeah.
Because it's easy now to look back at it and say, oh yeah, it's the best football show on TV. But back then when it was like, okay, we're going to do this, what's the audience? How are people going to like it? It's like, you guys, wait a second. Back in the 70s and the early 80s, you two are too young to remember this, I'm sure. But the best way to get a comprehensive look at the NFL was Howard Cosell, the Hall of Fame broadcaster, doing halftime highlights during Monday Night Football. Okay. and it was must-see TV, right? But back then, that was the only way you got to see the teams that didn't play in the city that you grow up in, right? And it was must-see TV. Then in the 90s, and even into the 2000s, the best way to watch a comprehensive look at the NFL was to flip on ESPN, NFL Primetime, Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and the ESPN crew giving you all the best plays. But get this, Howard Cosell did his thing a day after the games happened. Mm-hmm. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, ESPN did their thing hours after the games happened. NFL RedZone is live as it happens. And to be the guy sitting in the captain's chair for that, and I'm not putting myself in the category of Chris Berman, a Hall of Famer, and Howard Cosell, a Hall of Famer, but I take my duties and my responsibilities as serious as I know they've taken theirs. It's an absolute thrill to be providing NFL fans all over the country, all over the world, all 32 teams, fan bases will watch NFL RedZone at some point. It's a heck of a responsibility, but a heck of a lot of fun for sure.
Scott, I got two quick questions. I know we're coming up on time here. The first question, since you're the newest pal of the program, and you are a pal, you seem like quite the pal.
Okay. Sure, pal. No problem. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. Between Monday and Saturday, when that music is going on the RedZone channel, and that's all that you see, they do let you leave the studio, right? Like, I just want to make sure.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, Rich Eisen, my colleague at NFL Media, he likes to joke that they lock me in the studio and they slide a tray of food underneath like you're in what do they call it in prison? Isolation, like solitary confinement, they call it, right? And they don't let me out. But no, I'm allowed to do my thing. In fact, I'm joining you right now from my home, and I've got my notes as we're talking here. I don't know when people are going to watch this, but week 7 is coming up, and I've got, you probably can't see that too well, but I've got my notes packet that I start to all my spreadsheets and all the stuff that I do to start preparing, and I saturate my mind for the whole week leading into week 7, because I don't know what game is going to be insane, what player is going to have the jaw-dropping moment, what coach is going to make the controversial decision, but I know something's going to happen, and I just want to be prepared for it to be able to communicate, inform, and entertain the audience. So, but yeah, I get let out of the studio there. And I'm sorry for the long answer here. You said you had 2 questions. What was your second one?
No, that's a perfect transition. My second one was going to be, if Dan and I were interviewing you for picture this as a job interview, and I asked you, what is, in your time doing this job, what was either the most memorable or funniest or, I don't know, bizarre memory that you've had doing the show that we wouldn't know as fans watching on TV?
Woo! Most bizarre moment. Okay. So what you guys don't see, you hear me all the time. And then when I go to the stadium, you'll hear, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman or whoever's calling the game. Mm-hmm. But you don't hear everything that I hear. I'm wearing my earpiece. We call it an IFB in television. I'm wearing my IFB, and I can hear my producer, the director. I can hear the audio. I can hear, meaning the audio technician. And then when they have their microphone open in the control room, I can hear the whole control room. So there's a lot of chaos going on in my ear. And one year, I was giving an injury update, and it was a serious injury update. I don't remember. Let's just say it was, I don't know, whatever, Aaron Rodgers or something like that left the game. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers, but it was like a starting quarterback. And we were trying to discern, hey, what was the nature of his injury? We couldn't quite tell what the injury was. And my producer was going to try and tell me, click into the button and say, the Packers are saying it's an ankle injury. He was going to say that. But as he hit the button, somebody yelled out. We had a Browns fan on staff, and Josh Cribbs, remember the old, kick returner and utility guy for the Browns. He was busting a punt return or maybe a kickoff return. And he yells, "Cribbs," like that. And I go, Aaron Rodgers has a rib injury. We're being told it's ribs for Aaron Rodgers. Ribs has knocked him out of the game. And my producer's like, no. And then I got really mad because I'm like, you guys, you can't be just yelling stuff in the control room because it's going to get in here. And it was right at the critical time. That was a bizarre one. That was bizarre. I think I had to come back on the air and say, by the way, because we showed the Cribbs play 30 seconds later. And I said, when I said ribs, I heard the word cribs. I thought it was ribs. I apologize, but here's why we were yelling cribs. Here's a 90-yard kickoff return or whatever it was. That was a crazy moment.
You did that live on air. You
live on air. I was live. I was trying to say, well, we're trying to confirm the injury to Aaron Rodgers. And again, it wasn't Aaron Rodgers, but it definitely was cribs that one of my guys yelled. And I heard ribs.
Yep.
Because he was like in the back row and the microphone couldn't pick him up. And I was waiting to hear what body part the quarterback had that knocked him out of the game. Yeah. So I heard ribs. I'm like,
just doing your job,
I'm
man.
being told it's ribs. Yeah. Anyway,
that's funny. So Scott, we'll let you go. I know we want to respect your time.
I'll tell you what, you guys are great. If you got 2 more minutes, I can do 2 more. If you guys each got 1 more question, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah,
Let me get the sweat off me again from the workout.
Yeah, sure. No, do your thing.
And by the way, I don't wear turtlenecks. This is my my face mask for for pandemic responsibility. So
love it. Yeah. So actually, you know what? That's funny. I mean, I had something planned, but I think I'm gonna go that direction. Obviously, you're covering all these games. You're covering some games that have fans, some are empty. We're empty here in Gillette, New England.
Yeah.
What are your kind of I know you said 2 minutes. What are your kind of, I guess, quick takes on how bizarre of a season this has been with everything going on?
Look, I'm not going to pick apart any of the peaks and valleys that we've gone on, all the scheduling changes and stuff, because guys, I am so locked in and so thankful and so focused. We have football.
I'm with
There
you.
were people who were saying, let's just hit the rewind button in our lives. And one of the 3 of us, 2 of the 3 of us, maybe all of us at some point thought, are we even going to get to week 1 and the NFL kickoff on time? We have played 6 uninterrupted weeks. We've had, the schedule juggling and stuff like that. And there was just another one today, and there's probably going to be more, but we have gotten through what most people predicted. No way you're going to get through this far without a bubble. And we've done it. So in terms of the pandemic, I credit the league, the players union, the coaching staff, the athletic trainers of all these teams, the team physicians, the players themselves for the personal discipline and away from the football facility they've had to have. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. And I hope it continues. My bet is that we're in for some more bumps along the way, scheduling changes. And then the more we eat up the bye weeks, the musical chairs are starting to fade away. There's only going to be so much room to stack games. Yeah. So we're going to go a week at a time, a day at a time at points, but I'm thrilled we've gotten this far.
Me as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Last one for you, Scott.
One more? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Last one. Not even really a question. I just wanted to say that was an interview question. The last one that I asked you and you passed because you clearly, you improvised well. Yeah. Cause you gave us a great example of how you thought on the fly. You're able to get through what was, a potentially dire situation. So
we'll figure out the contract. We'll match the salary. It's fine. You're officially a Morse code podcast employee.
This is
come
being
Monday.
Recorded, right? I want this on the record here.
Yeah.
I want this on the record. Look at guys. It's ultimately, we kind of joke around with our staff. It's like, when in doubt, show football.
Yeah.
When in doubt, we're making 1 million value-based decisions. Maybe not 1 million, but we are legitimately making thousands of value-based decisions every single show. Do we go to this game? Do we go to that game? Do we show this highlight? Hey, this touchdown just happened. When do we show that? How quick can we do this? This just came out of commercial break. Let's not show this because they're back from commercial break. Hey, you know what? A 50-yard play just happened. It's 1st and goal from the 5. We got to go there now. Yep. We are making thousands of value-based decisions. What the best thing to show you guys is. Sure. And so not if, but when I make a mistake, when we make a mistake as a staff to maybe we didn't go to the right game at the right time, but if you just trust us, we are doing our best. And I think the audience is pretty gracious. I still get people on social media saying, Scott, you're terrible. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know anything about football. And I'm like,
let them try it.
I got a healthy ego. I got a healthy self-esteem. I don't crumble up into the fetal position and say, oh, I'm no good. But we're doing the best that we absolutely can. And so when I say ribs and it's cribs, and we all kind of can go, oh, okay. Or there's some new guy who has like a Nigerian last name and we've never heard of this guy before. He's not a big name in the NFL. And I'm trying to pronounce his name with all the vowels and consonants and everything else like that. People are going to cut me a little bit of slack, and I'm very thankful for that.
Well, for what it's worth, Scott, it's taken me a while, but I forgive you for the Josh Cribbs scenario. I'm officially over it. So,
well, you don't know this, but I agreed to this interview based on the fact that I might receive your forgiveness at some point.
Of course.
So
I'm glad we got to
that's a great
our
landing
beef.
spot.
Yeah.
We're in a good place.
Yeah.
Give a little air high five.
Yes. Appreciate that, Scott. Before we let you go, this seems like a silly thing to ask, but where's the best reminder for everyone to follow you on social media and everything?
Sure. Yeah. I basically use my social media most of the time. I use it just to connect with fans, you know. Twitter is my main one. That's at Scott Hanson, Hanson. And then Instagram at Scott Hanson 1. Scott Hanson was taken for some reason, but at Scott Hanson 1 on Instagram. And if I might throw in, I'm on Cameo. I joined a website called Cameo. It's an app and a website where they take celebrities. And if you want a birthday shout out, you can go on there and hire me to do a birthday shout out for your best friend or your dad or your football fan in your life. So you can hit me up on Cameo. Just search Scott Hanson Cameo and that'll come up. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not quite on Cameo yet. We're still working out the negotiations and everything. But,
I know the guys. I'll put in a good word for you.
Sounds good. Well, Scott Hanson, thank you, my friend. Thank you for your time. And good luck Sunday. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But thank you for stopping by, man.
We'll see you guys on Sunday for the Octobox and the Witching Hour and the aforementioned 7 hours of commercial-free football. All the best with the show, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.